From the mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov.
I think I discovered one of my new favorite VO sounds. It's the Neumann BCM-104 going through a CAPI VP-26 500 series API-style preamp. And I'd never tried these two before together, which is crazy because I've had both of these pieces for a long time in my collection. But it just never occurred to me to try it, because I'm not really one to use the API-style sound for voiceover. I mean, a lot of this stuff that I do is very mid-forward already. And that API style, right, that the vintage API style, is really muscular in the mid-range, right? Not so big in the low end, very smooth high end, right? But very muscular, very mid-forward. So I have a lot of mid-forward microphones. So to me, it's a little bit too much push. But the BCM-104, which I think I'm on record as saying how much I really like it, but it has just never found a place in the overall day-to-day swerve of what I do. But I really like this mic. It also looks like the Rocketeer a little bit, doesn't it? But I really like this mic a lot. I think it has a great sound for broadcast, for the broadcast medium, for television, for radio. If I was still doing a radio show, I would totally use the BCM-104 every day. It has a really nice sound, very full sound, right? Very clear sound. And it's got a neutral but mid-present sound. It's got some of that Neumann richness. And when I say Neumann richness over and over and over again ad nauseum, what I'm really talking about is that it seems like with Neumann mics, they built into the capsule design just kind of like a saturation that happens through the mid-range. Something that thickens the mid-range, adds authority to the mid-range, and I believe that's all really part of the capsule design, more so than the overall circuit that happens after it. So that Neumann richness is still here in the 104. It's not a super neutral mic. It's not a super clean mic. It's got that sound, and also has kind of, I would say, I don't want to call it a neutered bottom end, but it's really more of a broadcast tailored bottom end. So you're hearing this with no EQ on it, no EQ at all on this. No processing. It's just really all I have on it is just the regular like 1.5 to 1 compression and the noise gate on the MT48. And this is what I'm getting. And before, I really thought that the 104 sounded nice. I thought it sounded nice. Maybe a little bit too polite, and that was why. This flat frequency range that goes from about 200-ish to about 12K-ish on the 104 is really great. I mean, you really get a very accurate capture without it feeling sterile. But it just wasn't punchy enough for what I do, and it just kind of bugged me that I never found the space for it. And then just out of microphone boredom, Wednesday morning before warm-ups, I set up the 104 in the booth, and I plugged it into the VP-26, which again is an vintage API style preamp. And the vintage API style varies from the modern API style in that it's a little bit more vintagey. It has a little bit more saturation. It has a little bit more transient thickness. But overall, the VP-26 pairs, I think, with the 104 really well. Because you're not getting a big, massive low end. You're not getting that big, massive low end presence. And even the 104 has a very gentle proximity effect. I can put my nose right up on the grill, and it really doesn't make it super woofy. And again, I'm always like a couple inches off the grill. I'm not that far off the grill. So it's nice. There's not a huge proximity effect, but there's that mid-range punch that I'm getting because of the CAPI that I hadn't gotten before. And so at first I was like, I don't know, do I like this sound? Do I like it at all? It's got a nice transparency to it because this is a transformerless microphone. So you're not getting that transformer, really, and what transformers really do is transformers slow down the signal. Think about this for a moment. When you're running your signal through a mic that has a transformer, there's the signal that passes through, and then really the transformer kind of it slows it down. It's like really like running through, like when you try to run through water in a swimming pool, right? It slows it down, which adds that thickness to it because you're really kind of adding really a phase smear to it. That's what it is. I know it sounds ugly when you talk about it in such terms. That beautiful transformer squish that we all really just kind of love, that warmth, is really just kind of a smear. But it's a lovely smear at that. So, lovely smear. That's that'll be the name of my next album. So, the transformerless nature of this microphone makes it very clear and crisp and friendly, but you run it through the CAPI, which kind of grits it up a little bit and adds that mid-punch and I think what you're getting here is something really nice for commercial voiceover, for voiceover in general, or at least I like it on my voice. Your mileage may vary. And so and again, I was like, I don't even know if I like this or not. And so I did the first audition of the day on Wednesday. I did it through this and then just went back to the usual. And then first thing Thursday, I wake up and I got the gig. And they were like, love the audition, do the exact same thing. I'm like, okay, perfect. And so as I was doing the whole gig and listening to this back and then listening back to it through my phone, I was like, wow, that's an exceptional sound. I really like that. This is definitely finding a place in the day-to-day machinations of what it is that happens here. And I really like this sound. What do you think, right? The BCM-104, again, to me, is such an interesting, cool microphone for voiceover. It's not an all-rounder. Like, it's not going to cover everything you need it to. But I think for this kind of thing, it works great. I even used it on some tags. Visit Bobcat of Fayetteville in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Bobcat, one tough animal. So, I mean, I think it delivers. I think it delivers punch. I think it delivers clarity. And I think it delivers personality that otherwise would be lost, I think, with a more transformer squishy microphone. So I'm digging this. But I want to know, what do you think? What do you think? BCM-104, CAPI VP-26. I think this is a winning combo. But I want your comment. All right. Until next time, this is Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov, fading to black.